today's rebuild, the plan was to fix Standard Liege in Belgium, but this video was massively disrupted by Sports Interactive and a bug that's in the game that they have yet to fix. Standard Liege are a 10-time Belgian champion, but haven't won the title since 2009 after beating Anderlecht in a playoff where Axel Witsel scored the decisive goal. And they even made it to the quarterfinals of the Europa League in 2010. However, since then, things on and off the pitch have been a bit less successful, with the club getting purchased by US-based private investment firm 777 Partners in 2022. Yes, that's the same firm that are trying to take over Everton. So our goal today is to become the Liège manager and take them back to the top of Belgian football. Diving into the club, you can see why they are set up for greatness again, and it's time to top up that trophy cabinet. As I'm using a real-world database, this is the squad I have going into the start of the season, but several players will be departing the club before the end of the transfer window. However, we do have 10 players coming into the club, but 6 of them are season-long loan deals, which is something I don't really like relying on if I can help it. Tactic-wise, we'll be running GYR's Thor tactic, which looks like this in-game with the current best 11 in their positions. Key player for us this season will be Hayo Kawabe, who is pretty decent and well-rounded and will be playing at the tip of our midfield diamond. So I'm expecting big things from him in terms of goals and assists. Liège finished in 6th last season, so there won't be any European competitions in season number 1, so let's try and right things back home in Belgium. And when you look at the title odds for season 1, it looks like we're going to have a lot of work to do because we're predicted to finish in 6th and being 25 to 1 shot to win that trophy. Before we get into the results of season number 1, there are some January transfers that I need to update you on because they were key players for us in the second half of the season. First up was the purchase of Defensor Sporting utility man Nicolas Rodriguez for 500k. He's on the older side but can play as a defensive winger in this tactic, so will be a good pickup. We then picked up a true defensive midfielder in Swedish international Samuel Gustafsson from BK Häcken, and he cost us £1.8 million. And finally, we added Václav Jamelka from the Czech Republic for £1.5 million. He comes in to be our new first choice left back. Now let's get into the football. In the league, we were great picking up impressive results against some of the biggest clubs in the country. You could see that we were racking up results, scoring several goals in the process, and when you look at the Golden Boot race, you can see why, as we had 2 players fighting it out at the top of the scoring charts, scoring 38 league goals between the 2 of them. We put together a great run of wins moving into the championship group, so I was feeling confident that we could perform here. Out of the 10 championship group fixtures, we picked up 21 points to see us finish the group on 55 points and secure the club's first title in 25 years. And in the Belgian Cup, we managed to progress to the final with some great wins, even beating Antwerp 12-10 over 2 legs in the semi-final. In that final, we had a great opportunity to take the lead from the spot, but Wilfried Kanga blasted his penalty miles over the bar. Then with 60 seconds of the game left, Mohamed Amora snuck ahead of his marker and tapped home the only goal of the game. We were so close to a League and Cup double in our first season, but this is where the problems start. Looking at the finances, we have a minus £9 million in our transfer budget, and we're now £21 million in debt on the club balance. And if you look at our debts and loans page, we're paying back a whopping £1.3 million of debt every single month. So this summer was going to be a huge challenge, but one that I was kind of looking forward to. With no money in the bank, we had to go into the transfer market looking to sign free transfers. And we managed to add 5 players for free, along with 2 loan signings. First up was Romarinho, who joined from Burnley, who will take up one of the starting jobs up top. He was followed in by Majid Waris, who arrived to bolster our striking options, but probably isn't as good enough to be a striker. We then turned our attention to the defence as we signed Davide Batella from Monza, Anderson Jesus from Vizela, and Ivan Ordets from Dinamo Moscow to really revolutionise our back line. Then in the loan market, we picked up Luke Netton from NEC and Jefte from Fluminense. However, we're not done, as we are trying to raid the Premier League loans, as we are in talks with Amad Diallo from Manchester United and Cole Palmer from Chelsea. So fingers crossed we get both of those. With these additions, this is how we are looking for the season, and I think we're nicely balanced and have lots of firepower to attack the season. Following our success last year, we return to the Champions League where we enter in the league phase. So that will be good for the club's coffers, and we will also take part in the Pro League Super Cup, in a repeat of last season's cup final. It seems to have been a good summer as our title odds have been slashed to 9-1 for the season, but we are still predicted to finish in 4th. And financially, it seems like we've done some creative accounting as we've cleared £10 million worth of debt, and we're now only paying back just over 100k a month. We opened the season with the Pro League Super Cup taking on Union Saint-Galoise, and we absolutely dominated them from start to finish, running out 5-1 winners to get our season off to a flyer. However, our return to the Champions League ended very abruptly in the league phase. In our defence, we were handed some tough fixtures, but we only managed to gather one single point from our 8 fixtures to see us finish all the way down in 35th in one of the worst performances I've ever seen in the Champions League. However, the Champions League money should really help the club. Back on Belgian soil, we really showed that we've stepped up a gear, ripping through a majority of the competition in the league, rarely conceding more than a goal per game, while scoring 3, 4, 5 goals a game in some instances. Massive shout out to loan signing Amad Diallo, who did arrive from Manchester United and was one of our key performers in the season, bagging 9 goals and 16 assists from the right midfield position. Moving into the Championship group, we'd already opened up a substantial points lead on the opposition, so despite losing 4 of the 10 games in that Championship group, we still managed to win the title by 5 points. And this season we faced another return to the Belgian Cup final, even dispatching Club Brugge over the 2 legs before facing Sint-Truiden. They finished in mid-table in the league and seemingly lost their heads in this final as Stipe Poreka managed to score 3 goals from the penalty spot in an easy 5-1 win. So domestically, we completed an impressive treble, but failed quite spectacularly on the continental stage. Another bright light in the season was the emergence of Noah Makembo and Temo, who made 40 appearances in all competitions this season and looks like he could develop into one hell of a player for us for as long as we can hold on to it. But sadly, I don't see us being able to make the step up in the Champions League because looking at the finances, we have minus £10 million in our transfer budget and the club as a whole is still in the red. With the club being so far in debt, this summer was really difficult. We could only sign loan players, and that was only if we didn't have to pay a monthly fee for them. We could cover their wages, but we just couldn't pay anything up front. So we went back to the Premier League to pick up Facundo Buonanotte from Brighton to replace Diallo, who opted to join Real Sociedad at the end of his United contract. Next, we signed Scottish international Calvin Ramsey from Liverpool to become our new first choice right back. And finally, we added Liam Delap from Manchester City to replace the retiring Romarinho. We are trying to get a few more deals over the line, but we will have to see if we can make these few additions. The Premier League reinforcements come straight into our best 11 for the season, and Makembo and Temo is going to be our star man at the point of the diamond. Competition-wise, we have the same 4 as last season, and I'll be hoping for more than 1 point in the Champions League this time out. However, we have already added one of those trophies to the trophy cabinet, as in a repeat of last season's cup final, Stipe bagged another hat-trick in a 5-2 win to see us lift back-to-back Super Cups. As you'd expect following our domestic dominance, we continue to show what a superpower this club could be again in Belgium by firing through another league campaign, this time remaining unbeaten until we faced Anderlecht in the Championship group. This saw us lift our 3rd league title in a row, with Liam Delap and Stipe having a field day, scoring 52 goals between them this season in the league. In the cup, we progressed to our 3rd straight final, taking out Genk and Antwerp en route before facing Anderlecht in the final. This game was much closer than last season, as we gave away a first half penalty, which was saved by our goalkeeper, denying Kasper Dolberg. We were then reduced to 10 men on the stroke of half-time as Liam Delap was shown a straight red card for a horror tackle on Buxa. However, with extra time looming, we were awarded a penalty of our own in the 94th minute, and Stipe showed he has massive cojones, calmly slotting the penalty away to see us complete another domestic treble. After last season's horrific performance in the Champions League, we were much better this year. In the league phase, we picked up impressive wins against Celtic, Red Bull Salzburg and Inter Milan, and finished with 13 points and in 19th place, meaning we qualify for the knockout phase of the competition. However, the draw gods were not shining down on us, as we were handing a near impossible task of taking on Manchester City. We were at home first, and the boys put in a heroic performance, even opening the scoring against Thomas Tuchel's men. Yeah, Tuchel's the City manager in this save. Kyle Walker and Kevin De Bruyne then put City back into the lead, but then their own forward, on loan with us, Liam Delap, scored against them to make the game 2-2 on the night. But the game at the Etihad was a step too far for us, as we came crashing back down to earth, with City putting 6 goals past us to see our Champions League journey come to an end. So looking at our competitions tab, you can see that we are still progressing. But this is now where the issue hits us, and it feels like we can't take this any further. Again, we've been set a negative transfer budget by the club, even though our Champions League run has seen us return the club to having a positive bank balance. And when you look at the debt and loan screen, it says we have 0 net debt. However, we still wouldn't be able to make any signings. We had some money in our wage budget, but the slider wouldn't move. We had to keep it all in our wage budget, and we couldn't just remove some of that debt by moving things across, and it really made me consider whether this save could progress at all. So we took to the SI forums to find this post earlier this month stating the same issue that we are facing here. And shout out to SI staff member Zachary White for responding to this post, saying that it is a known issue and something that the team are looking into. Perhaps this is something that could be fixed come the winter update, but it seems foolish to continue this save knowing that this bug is live in it right now. It feels like we won't be able to progress this at all if we wanted. You can try. The save files are over on my Patreon right now, and if you like the rebuild content, check out this playlist. It's all the rebuilds we've done on this year's game.